Welcome to the future. Prepare to immerse yourself with the key creators in the world of Web3. It's time to get excited. The Credit Metaverse Podcast.
What is the biggest goal of Swipelux in the long run?
So we want to become the reason why gaming and metaverse will become Web3 gaming and metaverse will become completely normal type of experience you have, and we want to have the signature below the huge impact that Web3 will have, being the biggest onboarding solution for gaming and metaverse industry is what we are striving for every day. We are huge fans of games, we are huge fans of metaverse, and we see that there is a huge demand for from the retail users. So being able to help these metaverse and the gaming companies to reach like 1 billion of users that are coming from Web2 is what we are here for.
Welcome to another Credit Metaverse Podcast episode. Today we are joined by a special guest, founder and chief operation officer of Swipelux. Welcome, Filip. How are you doing today?
Brilliant. Thank you for inviting me. Really good.
Awesome. Could you please, for a start, tell us a little bit more about yourself, about your background and your career?
Sure. Hi, I'm Filip. I'm in crypto for over 7 years, so it's been some time. I've started on high school when I was building like mining farms in Czech Republic. So I started with building mining farms, and with my friends we were just doing these graphic cards and building these mining rigs and selling to other people. That's when I've started, and then I did some business here and there, and somehow I've ended up at Swipelux. Like two and a half years ago. It's been quite some journey, but in short, then we ended up with Swipelux 2.5 years ago when I founded the company with the mission of making the transition to Web3 a bit faster, to accelerate it with whatever we can do. Somehow I'm here for over 7 years, so I kind of enjoy the crypto.
Great, so you're kind of OG, I would say. And since you're one of the founders, or are you sole founder of Swipelux?
One of the founders. So we have 3 co-founders with me. One is a CTO who is in charge of the product, making sure that whatever we deliver is something that people likes. I'm leading the commercial, so I am responsible for making sure we have money. And my third co-founder is the CEO, who is overseeing kind of everything and in charge of the investors relationship. So that's how we structured the 3 co-founders.
Very good, very good. It became actually quite a common thing in the Web3 environment to actually have multiple co-founders, which is not so common in the traditional businesses, if you agree with me. Usually it's like 2 or up to 3, but I'm also very familiar with this kind of structures where actually even more than 3 or 4 are actually doing the business within the company, and it actually works, in my opinion, as long as it's structured well.
Well, I think it's I think it's important to divide the responsibilities of different departments in the company to multiple people. Like having a one solo founder is workable, for sure, but on the same side, having someone that just is with you from the very beginning and has the same passion for it, has the same equity as you, or the motivation is obvious, this is really, really high of the founders, having the knowledge of being sole founder is I think is quite hard in a way that you have to cover multiple expertise, or you have to hire the right people, and in the beginning it's somehow impossible if you don't have money. So if you're just like building the stuff, so that's why we choose that the CTO is doing the coding from the day when he was born. Like he built some digital banks, he's in crypto for quite some time as well, and Hewlett Packard, and the CEO is my best friend that I know for over like 6 years. So you've done some businesses with me before, so we know how to somehow like work with each other. So I think it's crucial for the success. Sometimes there are some bad moments about startups as well, and good moments, and you want to make sure that you have besides you someone that will understand you and that will be able to react in the same way as you want to do. So I think it's quite important. Yes, but I'm not saying that being sole founder is something that is not common. But yes, in Web3 this is common. This is common to see.
And could you tell me, how did Swipelux start? Like how the idea was born? What were the beginnings?
Sure. So when I was thinking about like 3 years ago about the Web3 space and where we can be in 5 years, I still think that the Web3 is going to disrupt each of the verticals of the world as we know it, which is the payment side, which is the DeFi side, so the financial products, which is the experience we have online, which are games, or which are some fashion brands, everything. But when I was thinking at what phase we are still quite early with the Web3, yeah? So when we want to achieve the scalability of this whole system, we need to ensure that the onboarding to these applications is really easy. You know, for example, when you have a great game, you want to make sure that you enjoy the game, and you want to make sure that every interaction is really easy. So when I was reviewing these big games and these big Web3 applications, I was like, well, yeah, it's really cool what they're building, but if I would show it to my little brother, who doesn't understand crypto, he would have to create a wallet. So like seed phrase, oh my god, what is that? Then he would need to swap it or register at, for example, exchange. That's another friction. Then he would have to go from the exchange to maybe some decentralized exchange to swap it between some layers, blockchains. The onboarding to the applications is horrible right now. And I really believe that in order to transition and make the acceleration of the transition of Web3 environment faster, we need to do something with the onboarding. So we knew that there is the issue. So what we've decided to build are like multiple tools that are helping Web3 projects to get more users. The way how we do it is we have a backbone of the whole system, which is so-called fiat-to-crypto on-ramp, which means it's like a plug-in and play solution similar to Stripe. So you can think about it as a Stripe for Web3. So if there is an exchange and they implement our solution, anyone can buy their virtual assets with a payment card. That's the main product. Yeah, and then we have like multiple others.
Do you have also off-ramp, or do you have only on-ramp?
So far we have on-ramp. We're planning to have off-ramp down the road by the end of this year. What we've seen so far in the market is that there is much higher demand for on-ramping than off-ramping. The point is that our mission is to accelerate mainly the on-ramp part, where is the highest demand. And there are multiple verticals what you can do within the on-ramps that we have. We are not the only one in the market. There are companies that are doing also on-ramping, also off-ramping. So this part of the business is already being solved in a way. So we are looking at different verticals, but yeah, off-ramp will be part of Swipelux, but down the road. Once the demand for off-ramping will be a little bit higher, we will prioritize it.
Could you tell me more about, for example, competitors and what differentiates Swipelux from them?
Yeah, so there are lots of companies that are focusing on onboarding more users. Yeah, so there are companies that are, for example, creating wallets in a really easy way. There are companies who are making the KYC really easy. There are companies who are doing also on-ramping. There are companies who are doing, for example, NFT to Visa and MasterCard, so that you can buy NFTs with a payment card. What we are doing at Swipelux is that we have built all the solutions within one widget, within one ecosystem. So if there is a game, for example, that have NFTs and they have also a token, we can do everything. So they come to us, they have like one vendor, and we are doing the fiat on-ramp where people can buy the coins. We are also offering to have a listing of their token inside of the payment system, also option to sell NFTs with the payment card. But where we feel that we are the strongest is that we are able to interact with the smart contracts. So we are in a way fiat to smart contract on-ramp. So there are multiple companies that have the whole system running around the smart contracts. And based on the Andrei Horowitz Fund report, the smart contracts developer activity is one of the highest that has been ever in the market. So companies are doing liquidity pools based out of the smart contracts. We don't force the client to be listed on centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. We can keep their tokens in their treasury, and we connect to the treasury, for example. So the smart contracts is a big advantage we have over the market, and that's why usually the clients are choosing us, besides having everything under one rooftop. And we are focusing heavily on gaming and metaverse. That's like our niche. I'm a huge fan of this game and metaverse, and that's where we are the strongest. That's the vertical.
What is your favorite, since you said that you're a big fan, like what are your favorite games and metaverses, since it have been quite a hype and quite a lot of companies actually have started building, some more successfully, some less successfully, slower, faster, but what are your favorites, for example, in this area at the moment?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the products that Ape is building. I really like how they're interacting with the community. I also really enjoy DeFi Kingdoms. I think that they've done the customer acquisition really good way. And the clients that we have are really my favorite. Like, what I usually do is when we have a new client, I'm sending it to my little siblings to say like, well, do you think that we should work with them? Like, do you like the game? Do you like how they're building? So a couple of companies that we work with, for example, is Decimated. They're doing brilliant games, and multiple others. Usually, like for me, what I've seen in the market, and it's quite interesting, is that people forget that they are building a game. They are not building a Web3 company. Yeah, so like, what if you are building a game? You want to make first sure that the game is great, that the game is enjoyable. And what I've seen is lots of companies have started with tokenomics. So, think about it. I'll go to my siblings that are in love in game, and if I would present it, I would be like, well, look, Sebastian, so like, it has great staking program, it has great liquidity pool, you can do lots of stuff there. Like, well, like, this sounds kind of boring, I don't want to play that. So yeah, like, if the game is actually enjoyable, they have daily active users, monthly active users who are actually playing the game, that's a fit. And then on top of that, you have to build the tokenomics and find a way how to monetize them in a good way. So games that are actually enjoyable to play is really like great to work with.
I would also like to point out that pretty much too many companies have started building instead of building the product, they have started with token and then building something around the token. And token should just be something beneficiary on top of your product and not actually the whole point of your project. Kind of sad, but seen it a lot in the space.
But I feel like it's because like there is still within the Web3 space this kind of a narrative that has been built over the year 2017 with the ICO. Like projects are starting with fundraising for sure with the token, so they have to build this tokenomics and they have to build this staking. But I feel that not enough startups in the Web3 space are coming to normal VCs. To the angels. They are trying to raise always from the community, build a hype around it, but then when you take a look on the community, they are not talking that much about the game, they are not talking that much about the experience, they're more talking about like, when can I get a Lambo? Yeah, like it's a bit different right now in the market because everything is quite down, but still I've seen it multiple times. So I would like to also see like more startups going to VCs to get money, so they don't have to because if you step into the game promising profits, then you are forced from the very beginning until whatever time to just like shield the token and make sure that you will pop up like that your token is great and the tokenomics is great and the staking program is great and the yielding is great. So then you got into the circle where you just have to continue with that. But the startups that I was talking with in Dubai that raised a significant amount of money from VCs, they are building a game, they want to actually publish first the game, get some users, and then announce. We are doing like play to earn. Think about if, for example, Fortnite would do that. Fortnite is a very successful game. They have lots of customers. If right now they would say like we are doing play to earn, like this would be the biggest probably play to earn game in the market. And so sometimes it's the other way around. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned also the fundraising and actually that Web3 companies should actually focus more on traditional ways and actually approaching the VCs, angels, and shift the way they're doing it right now. Could you tell me a little bit more about your views on the current situation on the market? And for example, one of the things that I noticed is that with every downturn, like we have in crypto those cycles that are usually like 4 years long, then we have those two years usually that are really downtime where crypto is decimated, VCs, investors, and everyone is kind of just like, running away from as soon as they hear the crypto or Web3. Of course, not everyone, but generalizing kind of. What is your current view on current fundraising situation towards the Web3 companies, like at this stage and let's say during the previous 1 year when the market was down?
If you know about AI. The reason why I've asked if you know about AI is that AI is taking over the world right now in a way. So what we can see in the fundraising space is that lots of companies or lots of VCs are currently heavily focused on AI. The question if it's a bubble or not, I don't think it's that big of a bubble because it's really, really cool what the companies are building. But right now Web3 is definitely more in shadow than in 1 year ago. I'm not saying it's impossible, but fundraising right now, even like $100,000 is much harder than 1 million 1 year ago. So there has been a significant shift in the fundraising space. On the same side, it brings some benefits. So one of the benefits is that the VCs currently are pushing into the Web3 startups to actually have the right metrics. So the right metrics is what's your daily active users, what's your monthly active users, how much money you're making, and metrics like that. So the companies that have been focusing on these metrics and on the users 1 year ago don't have that big of an issue. But companies that have not been focusing on that much, they are currently struggling. On the same side, from the retail perspective, yeah, it's kind of that. But from the VC perspective, from the VC perspective, I don't see a significant change. Retail, it's kind of gone right now. It's hard to fundraise from the retail. Retail is usually the first one who is affected by emotions of the market. So VCs are not there, more logical, more long term. But retail market is right now in a way dead from the fundraising perspective. But if companies are actually building something that is cool or they have already users and they have some metrics that they can share, they have an option to fundraise. So the period that we have right now will probably clear up the market, but will make the great players a bit stronger. So
I agree. Yeah.
Let's see.
By the way, have Swipelux had funding rounds in the past?
Yeah. So 2.5 years ago, when I just had a pitch deck in my hand and nothing, we've got some seed round 2.5 years ago. From that moment, we have raised some rounds, and currently we are also fundraising. So we have raised the pre-seed round, the seed round, and we are preparing for the A round in the end of this year. For example, for us, so we know exactly what are the KPIs we need to fulfill in order to have a great result for the A round. We know it, and we have the KPIs until the end of the year, and so far we are doing pretty great. I'm really proud of the team, and so knowing the KPIs, what you have to achieve in each of the round is a great thing to have, because you can prepare for it upfront. You know how the investors will react. And for startups, I feel that the fundraising is never-ending story. From the beginning of the company, you should be always talking with the investors every week, like every month, sending report how you're doing and being in touch with them, showing them what you're building, showing them what's your result. And that's what we are doing at Swipelux. So yes, from the very beginning, we are talking on a weekly basis with investors. We got quite a few on board. For example, Morgan Free Capital, Untapped Capital from Silicon Valley. We got some investors that are pretty cool and are helping us a lot. Currently we are fundraising as well.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And one more thing, I would like to come back to the payment solutions. Like currently, what is the share of the, let's say, credit card payments in the space, in the crypto space, let's say? How much, how popular already it became, or is it still something that is just starting to get there?
Yeah. For the customer acquisition, there is nothing more popular than credit cards. If you're targeting Web2 audience, if you're targeting Web3 audience, like, you know, the people who are in crypto for some time, they usually have some crypto in MetaMask. If they don't, they're new. There is nothing better you can do than just like payment cards. Everybody has a payment card, and it's the easiest way how to get in, like buy some stuff online. On the same side, so there are, like, in general, two types of companies: the ones that are focusing on already crypto people, so the ones that are doing some DeFi pools, that are doing some trading platforms or exchanges, and other types of companies. Well, they have a demand for cards because they also care about the customer acquisition. But I think that by percentage, I don't want to lie, but I would say that 10%, 20% of their customers are coming from this credit card. The others are coming maybe from different exchange. But when we will take a look on the second type of companies, which are targeting Web2 audience and that actually care about having a high number of users, which are games, which are some NFT marketplaces, which are metaverses, you know, this is essential solution for them, because they are targeting not the people who are just in the crypto for investments, but for the people who are in or wants to get into the crypto because of the experience. And this is a super needed solution. If you don't have it, the metaverse companies usually have to explain how to onboard to crypto, and sometimes it's quite funny, quote unquote, because they're like, well, if you don't have a wallet, go to this blog. We have write a blog how to create a MetaMask. If you don't have an account, go to this exchange. This is how you register. So these companies already know that this is not the great thing to do. Imagine you'll be buying something on eBay or Amazon, and they'll be like, well, if you want to buy something on Amazon, please first go here and create like this.
Open the account, request the card. Yeah, the same concept, which is really 0 out of 10 in terms of easygoing and user friendly. And by the way, please.
Yeah. So just there are also I think for the companies who are building some games, it's important to understand that if they want to achieve a significant market share in the Web3 gaming space, they need to already start thinking about Web2 audience. This is their target market usually. So if they are thinking about Web2 audience, they have to think about onboarding. And I don't want to promote too much Swipelux. Like, it's not that much about Swipelux. It's more about like how you are thinking about the onboarding. So for example, don't use that much. What I've seen, companies that have not been using words like staking, liquidity pools, treasury, but more like user-friendly words, they were a bit more successful because the users didn't get scared of that. So I'd like to see a faster shift in this thinking of how to onboard the Web2 audience.
Yeah, this is definitely we are still in early stage of making it easy, and actually other companies actually implementing those easier solutions. But what do you think, for example, in terms of the, let's say, cards as a being on-ramp? Like, do you see in the future, let's say 5-10 years from now, will cards still stay dominant, or will we have something new coming to the market that will kind of overthrow these traditional cards and credit cards?
Well, hard to say, yeah. So this comes to the traditional world. Well, because I'm not sure if the crypto will take over the world and everybody will have crypto and the traditional market will die. I don't think so. So until there will be some more user-friendly payment method than payment cards, then yes, probably cards will be the ones. They are the most used payment method in the market. It's pretty easy to do payments with cards comparing to bank transfers and others. But what we've seen in China, they have these QR codes that it's really easy to pay with. So this is more question probably to the banks in Europe, like what payment methods are they building to plan. But what I can sell, if there will be more successful payment method than cards, we'll be the first one who will have it, because we actually really care about having the easiest way to onboard Web3. That's just like what we are doing. Really easy way to onboard, to get in. That's it, and help the projects to get more users thanks to us. So I don't know. Is there something else more popular than cards so far? I don't think so.
Not at the moment. You're completely right. We'll have to wait and see if there will something else be coming up. And by the way, I would like to also learn, what is the biggest goal of Swipelux in the long run?
Yeah, so we want to become the reason why gaming and metaverse will become, Web3 gaming and metaverse will become completely normal type of experience you have, and we want to have the signature below the huge impact that Web3 will have, and being the biggest onboarding solution for gaming and metaverse industry is what we are striving for every day. We are huge fans of games, we are huge fans of metaverse, and we see that there is a huge demand for from the retail users. So being able to help these metaverse and the gaming companies to reach like 1 billion of users that are coming from Web2 is what we are here for. Yeah, so on helping to these games to onboard this significant number of users is what Swipelux mission is.
Perfect. And by the way, before we wrap it up, I have the last question for you. And this is one of the things that we usually do on our podcast. We ask, what is your favorite anecdote from your life or career? We have heard very amazing stories from previous guests, and I'm sure that you have something interesting to share as well.
Like some kind of a motivation, yeah? Like what keeps me going?
No, I mean like some anecdote, some event that is like interesting that happened in your career or personal life.
Well, when I was thinking some time about life, I was thinking that it's in a way like a game. So you have like the main goal, which is having a family, having a house, and having a car, yeah? But besides the main mission you have these side events, these side quests. If you just like enter this side quest, there could be something really cool happening. So my side mission in my life was when I was in high school, and my teacher have asked me 8 years ago if I know what is Bitcoin. And I was like, I don't know. And then I was Googling it, and from this moment, I'm here for 8 years. So probably this was my side mission that I've kind of opened and successfully marked as done, where I've just like stayed for quite some time. So probably this is like the most significant event that happened in my life. I'm thankful for this teacher. If in a way changed my life.
That's really amazing, because that was some advanced teacher, because usually, I mean, I've got this feeling that usually you don't always get the top class informations actually in the school, because school is usually kind of coming still from the past, teaching what was relevant before and not actually being so advanced. So yeah, that's very interesting.
Surprising, right? I told this story to my siblings to actually stay in school and do stuff there. You never know, like maybe your teacher will change your life.
Amazing story. Filip, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for so much insights and sharing the things. I really enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best in your career, and I wish all the best for your company. and I'm sure that we will see each other in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Have a good rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Make sure to comment, let us know what are your opinions on the topics we discussed today, and see you. Bye-bye.
We bring you essential conversations with the key creators of the new world of interaction and connection. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing and join the conversation. See you next time on the Credit Metaverse Podcast.